One question that goes through almost every shopper's mind is whether or not you should buy a store or name brand item. Whether generic brand items are good enough may lead you to think that spending an extra dollar on something means that you're going to get that extra dollar's worth. However, I'm here today to talk to you about how higher prices doesn't always mean higher quality. Not only is the quality the same, but in some cases it can be even better. Cost is lower, savings are higher, and there are very little differences between generic and name brand items. The first thing that many people tend to overlook is the quality of store brand items. Despite what people say or what you hear, if you look at the ingredients and compare the two items, the quality is the same, if not better. According to October 2010 issue of Consumer Reports magazine, some companies manufacture both store and name brand items. With these, you can expect a higher quality. Those manufacturers include Sara Lee, Reynolds, Joy-Con, McCormick, 4C, and Royal Oak. Another question that comes up is whether or not generic brand items have any nutritional value. In the same article, it talks about how for some manufacturers, the nutritional value is better with generic brand items. For example, Mott's applesauce has more sugar than Publix, and Ore-Ida fries have more sodium than Jewel, and other name brand items. My next point is that with store brand items comes cheaper prices and higher savings. According to the same October 2010 issue of Consumer Reports magazine, filling a shopping cart with store brand items saves on average 30%. If you spend $100 a week on groceries, those savings can add up to $1,500 a year. Those are some massive savings. Getting items for a fraction of the price helps families with budgets by saving lots of money. These kinds of savings are one of the biggest reasons why buying store brand items are so much more common, especially in the United States. My last and final point is that there are very few differences between generic and name brand items. Lisa Ryder, Vice President of Retail Consulting Solutions for Nielsen, stated that store brand items are just as good. Store brand buyers are no longer seen as cheapskates but savvy shoppers. By saving, they can buy more for the price that they would have for name brand items. According to One Good Things website by Jill Lee in 2015, pharmacists and doctors are more likely than the general public to buy generic medications, and chefs are more likely than the general public to buy generic food. In addition to that, the general public buys more generic over-the-counter medications 70% of the time, whereas pharmacists and doctors purchase them over 90% of the time. The reason for this, you may ask? According to CBS's Money Watch website in 2014, over-the-counter medications are regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, and both name and generic brands have to use the same active ingredients. As a matter of fact, 50% of the generic brands are still manufactured by the name brand companies as well. The only difference when the customer buys the name brand items, they aren't paying for the name on the box. Another really good example of this is gasoline. Despite the additives put in to make it a better gas than any other kind, gasoline is a regulated product. This means that there are very few variations between the general and name brand products. To conclude, generic and store brand items should be bought rather than the name brand items. The cost difference and savings, types of generic items that are more similar to the name brand items, and the quality of both make it very obvious that not only is purchasing store brand items a better deal, but also a smarter way to shop.